No. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the It's Too Late We Said It podcast. We are your host, Mr. Edwin Nevado, and I
What
am
up?
Sean Leverett. Here we discuss all types of stuff, man, all types of topics from all types of walks of life, all types of things that may concern all types of people because that's what we are. We are all types of people. We are happy you're here with us. We welcome you to join us as we discuss some of the topics that are on our mind. But please do keep in mind throughout the show, we hope that you chime in and leave your comments about what you think and things that we are right on, things that we're wrong on. You hate us, we're ugly, we're fat, whatever you want to tell us. We're open to all of that because, hey, discussion is life, man. Evan, how you doing, bro? How you doing,
Discussion
homie?
is like, hey, doing good. It's been a great week, leading up to. I've been excited. I'm gonna be honest. I've been excited, kind of like in anticipation to, I feel like this is the flow of motion, getting the thing going. So I've been thinking about me sitting here and chopping it up with you on current events. So I mean,
Hey,
I'm excited.
man. Likewise, brother. Likewise. I always enjoy our talks, man. Even though sometimes we vehemently disagree with each other, but I love
Specifically with the
chopping.
background, with your background and my background, with the Ravens shit.
We got our coochie ate by the 49ers, but it
I
is what
should
it
have I
is.
should have popped that Lamar Jackson jersey on, but I'll do that next time.
Niggas know who Lamar is. Y'all niggas know who Lamar is, man. Hey, man, but shit, since we already talking about football, man, let's kick it off with that, man. We going into what, week 8? What's this, week 10? This is week
Yeah,
11 or some shit, right?
we're going into week 11 going on right now.
Week 11, man, and shit is looking shady for a lot of cats. It's a lot of teams that's looking good. It's a lot of teams that's looking like they threw in the towel already, man. But both our teams are in playoff contention.
Yeah.
Maybe even Super Bowl hopefuls, both of us. So what you think in the playoff picture look like, man? What's your top 3 teams from the NFC? What's your top 3 teams from the AFC?
My top three teams in the NFC. I'll start with NFC. Definitely gonna include your Rams. Your Rams is definitely one of the top contenders. And I like the Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah,
And I like the I'm gonna say the Bucks, but it's kind of like a toss up between the Bucks. Yeah, I'm gonna say the Bucks because they're already proven they're the Super Bowl champions, so they're representing. So I mean, a lot of people would think, oh,
you
the
left Mr.
Packers.
Maxine out. You left Maxine King out, Mr. Maxine.
Oh, I know that's what I'm saying. People would expect me to just go right into Packers or say Cowboys because both of them
Right,
teams are playing great, but they've also showed inconsistencies that it's hard to trust. Like let's say okay, the inconsistencies kind of override like their positioning. Where I
right,
can see like the Rams had two games where there were upsets, but you have to trust the pedigree of what they got in that system. And I'm
correct.
gonna chop it up to the fact that they just lost to keep playing Robert Woods
Hmm.
and Odell Beckham. You can't expect him to know a playbook in 3 days. So I mean,
Exactly, man.
this dude just got there, so you got to give him a little. And I didn't even think they was gonna throw any, give him any targets right off bat, but they did. It shows that they have faith in him, and I think that that's going to be something in the next 3 weeks. You're gonna see his like maturation with that playbook and him getting in rhythm with Matthew Stafford because he's got to be that number 2 now that Robert Woods is out.
Yes, I think
And
so
then
too, man.
Arizona, I like them, but it's gonna be a matter of Kyler Murray's health. He's dealing with that ankle injury, and
Yeah,
obviously what
that's
they've shown is that how are they playing without him? They're not playing as well. And
they got
also
smoked by the Panthers, bro.
JJ Watt's departure surprisingly is a blow to that defense because he really did affect a lot of what they do up front with this
Hmm.
with his
Double
um
team demanding, his energy, everything, man.
yeah, everything. He brings the energy to the team. He's like that guy that uplifts everybody. He
Hmm.
makes everybody like step their game up, and also on top of that, just his experience.
Right, right.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
so
JJ
but
Watt was like the big brother on that defensive line. They like, oh, my big brother here, nigga. We could do anything. So they was just
yeah.
feeding off his energy. So we'll see
Yeah.
what's up with Arizona, man.
And
Go ahead.
how about you? And then I guess top 3 AFC. You go ahead. What's your top 3 AFC teams?
Top 3 AFC. I'ma say shit, man. It's hard because I really don't fuck with nobody but the Rams. Let me say AFC. The Chiefs, you can never count. You can never count Mahomes out. The Chiefs gonna be there come the end of the day. The Titans, I was really feeling the Titans, but I don't know now without Derrick Henry. Like even more so than JJ Watt, Derrick Henry was the juice. For every 3 runs, Tannehill would throw a pass, and that's
Yep.
that's the way they would come. Like niggas knew
Yep.
if fuck Tannehill, we
Yeah,
got to
I mean,
stop
we
King
saw
Henry.
how the Titans look week 1 when they try to go pass heavy.
Right.
Tannehill took 5 or 6 sacks, I think, and I think no, it was 7 sacks, and 5 of them were by
Sheesh.
Chandler Jones. That was against the Cardinals, was it not? Yeah, Chandler
Wow.
Jones was destroying. So I mean, their offensive line does need a help, but they are better running the ball, and I think that that's what Derrick Henry is to them. He makes that offense tick. But I think that even though he's not there, they're starting to find themselves, and that's why they're still winning games. But you could see a little chink in their armor.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
I
so
mean,
it's like,
and even though they gave up those 6 sacks, we are far cry from week 1. You know, plus with no preseason.
oh yeah, they've
like,
far improved from that,
yeah,
and
you
that
gel a
also
little
just
bit more.
shows. It also just shows, you know, there's a lot of upsets that's been going on. The season has been crazy, but I see that teams have been adjusting. There's a lot of adjustments, and I think that's just it kind of coincides with this. We had that COVID year with no training camp. Everybody kind of was learning on the fly. Versus this year, we got training camp, but less preseason games with an extra
Extra
extra regular
game.
season game. And I think all of that is everybody's adjusting to how everything's kind of going
The new
into
wave.
the
Yeah.
new ways of the NFL. And I think that kind of brings into the thing, you know. I mean, just like you said, the Chiefs. I want to talk about the Chiefs because they had a big slump. It's almost like when the Ravens beat them, they just went on a skid.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, but
and they started losing.
Pat was doing all these commercials. I mean, I think once you realize you arrived, I think he that shit woke him up, Patrick Mahomes, and he got back settled. But once you arrive, he just got married. Everybody lauding him. He buying parts of the baseball team.
Yeah, the distraction with his brother too. His brother was talking.
I just
mad
found out about
smack.
his little brother, yo.
Little
I
brother
just
talking
found
mad
out about.
smack.
He looked like one of the pale niggas from the Matrix with dreadlocks. You remember them niggas?
Yo.
Without the dreads, though.
But you know that they just snuck in the first place too. The Chiefs currently just snuck in the first place. So while everybody was like thinking like, what's gonna happen to the Chiefs? They just snuck in the first place in the division.
But that
and
division
I doubt
is
they're gonna
trash.
relinquish.
Oh man, that division is trash.
I'm not gonna say it's trash, but it was, what was it called? Fool's gold. That division was fool's gold.
Are the Lions in that division?
No, the Lions are an NFC team.
Okay.
No, but the division is the Kansas City Chiefs, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Denver Broncos.
The division is trash.
Yeah, but if you see, it's kind of fool's gold because you see the Broncos. Remember, the Broncos got off to a hot start, went 3-0, and then they lost like 4 in a row.
Everything.
And then the Las Vegas Raiders, they got a hot start, but you know they have an excuse, yo. The whole controversy down there. I mean, they got
racist coaches, niggas getting in accidents.
Yeah, so but it's like they still are a pretty well contended team. And then the Chargers, they were like, oh, everybody's like, oh, the Chargers, they took first place.
Justin Hubert.
Hubert's gonna be the MVP. They go to the Ravens and get mollywopped, and suddenly just so that's why I said it's fool's gold. On the surface, everybody looked at that division like a strong division, but then come to see that a team like the Chiefs went on a skid. They were 3 games back at one point, and now they got first place. I don't think they relinquishing that, you know.
No.
You know, what's the other team? The Bills. I'm gonna say the Bills is a strong team.
Oh yeah, the Bills. I forgot about the Bills.
So
that'll be the top 3 in the AFC.
Yo, sneakily, the Bills actually have the number 1 overall defense. They got the top. Yep, they got the top passing defense, and I think top 3 rushing defense.
I didn't know that. Who they got on the back end? Who's the back end?
Their defense is just overall just like, it's not even like it's stacked with stars. It's more so like they just got an even kill of players that are just balling.
One of them old school Patriots defenses. Just
do
your job type teams.
And everyone's looking at like the offense, but their defense is playing really well. You know, I mean, when you have a defense playing really well, look, they lost to the Jaguars. What was the score? They lost. What was it? 9-3
they got beat.
Or some shit?
Yeah, I thought they got beat pretty bad by the Jags. I can't remember the score.
No, the score was low. They just couldn't score themselves, but their defense kept it a low scoring game. It was a real low scoring game. I think they could muster up more than 6 points. They got beat by like 6 points or something like that. But
what can you do when that happened, man?
What? I mean,
Illuminati got your shit.
Yo, did you see that shit?
The Illuminati on your camera, yo. You better stop talking bad.
I'm talking too much truth is what's going on. Oh, shit, boy. It's still doing it.
Yeah, it's all right. There we go. It stopped.
I thought that was something that you did, like to fuck around and play.
Oh, nah. I don't know. Your shit in the Matrix right now. There you go. It stopped. It stopped. It stopped. That's them X video visits. Up, see, there you
Bro,
go again.
it's still happening, yo. I
I
think
don't know.
that's the cue to move on to the next topic, maybe. Jesus.
Stop
Let me
talking
see
about
what
my bills. The internet love the bills.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
StreamYard. This is the perfect time to plug StreamYard services. Do you need your screen twerking with your co-host? Come to StreamYard. All
Oh
right, there we
snap.
go. You should be good. I don't know, man. You got the Boost Mobile tethering hotspot. That's what that is.
Bro, I think that has to do with my camera.
See, fucking with Jeff Bezos got you, yo.
That's with my camera. I think my camera's what's messing up on that. Damn, bro. We're gonna have to just keep it plugging. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you. I can still hear you. I can still hear you. I can still hear you.
Yeah, we're gonna have to keep it plugging. The show must go on and shit.
The show must go on. The show
I
must go on.
apologize,
So
folks. This is definitely an unforeseen circumstance that we did not expect.
it's all good, man. It's all good. They can still hear us. So as far as we know how the playoff picture going to roll out. But what do you feel like is the importance, or what do you think is the advantages, or what team do you think will have the advantages at the quarterback position when it comes to having somebody that's in the pocket versus somebody that's just running around, able to extend the play, make all crazy types of shit happen outside of the conventional drop back, throw it, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady pedigree type guys?
I'm gonna look at it like this, pocket passer versus mobile quarterbacks. Mobile quarterbacks bring a dynamic to the game that offsets a lot of the speed that's on the defenses now. So, and also on top of that, when you have offensive lines that aren't playing as well, the mobile quarterback can get himself out of trouble, extend plays, and this is where a standard play call that has a whole design, and then the play breaks down. A mobile quarterback jumps out the pocket. Suddenly, everybody's playing backyard football. The corners at that point lose discipline, so it creates opportunities, but it also leaves a lot of room for errors that may happen if the mobile quarterback is reading things improperly or just throws an inaccurate ball. A lot of mobile quarterbacks are now starting to incorporate things that pocket passes are taboo to do, throwing across your body, which is something that you're never supposed to do
Yeah,
as a
those weird
quarterback.
ass angles.
But pocket mobile quarterbacks, especially Patrick Mahomes, who are like an ace at doing that, they'll run to the right and throw to the left with immense accuracy. And I mean, that just brings another element to the game, and it's more excitement. Pocket passes have still got a lot in the league, where you got the coaches like Bill Belichick, who obviously flourishes with the pocket passer. Your coach too also flourishes with a pocket passer because their plays are more designed like cerebral plays, like to exploit defensive looks, and it's already designed that way, where a mobile quarterback has to create those opportunities. These coaches create opportunities with their play calls
and build
so
around
I
it.
think that I used to say this is the age of the mobile quarterback, and the pocket quarterback is going to be extinct. But I think we're starting to see that it's going to be a hybrid of the two things, where we're going to be able to see that there's room for both. And it's going to depend on the offensive system that they're in and what they want to run. So if you wanna run a specific style offense that's really cerebral, then you want a pocket passer so that you can execute your plays and let your quarterback just execute his discipline and stay with it. It goes either the play's dead, the play's there, or the play's dead. Throw it away or make the play. Or the mobile quarterback is you're going to do a lot of things that has to do with like, going on the run and like, figuring it out and on the fly. Then you want to extend plays and do a lot of gadget type plays and like trickeries. Mobile quarterback's going to help you in that. So it's going to depend on the offensive system. So I prefer a mobile quarterback because I think a mobile quarterback can become a great pocket passer, but a pocket passer can't really become a mobile quarterback. I think what you do with your legs, you either got it or you don't. But I think any mobile quarterback can eventually, as long as he works at that game little by little and you incorporate little by little. And I think that's what the Ravens do with Lamar Jackson. And you look at Dak Prescott in college, he used his legs a lot. But as he got closer and got into NFL, he's now focused into the mobile. And another example that is Russell Wilson. Remember Russell Wilson when he first came, a lot of runs, and he was doing a lot of running. And then he became a pocket passer who can also escape the pocket. So I think that's what you look at. You get a good athletic quarterback, use his gifts and slowly work on the other stuff, because that's just mechanics and coaching. And
Right.
that's what I think. That's my opinion. I'm gonna
Well, with
always
the
go with the
Ravens
mobile quarterback.
though, I think when they brought Lamar in, the intention was to build an offense around Lamar. So it wasn't like
Oh, no doubt.
we gonna
That
plug him
was the
in
intention.
and see how he gets. Now I think that's why Lamar Jackson is flourishing, because the GM, the coach, the offensive coordinator, special teams coach, everybody know that this is the way we're gonna have to roll.
Yep. And they
as
all
a
bought in to what
They
he is.
bought and that's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, it was just pre-known already. We're gonna have to run about what behind Lamar. With Russell, I feel like Pete Carroll is just like, nigga, get in line, and then Russell improvises along the way. It's
Russell
not
Wilson
necessary.
took that job. Remember, he wasn't even supposed to be the guy. He
It
was
was
a fourth round
Hasselbeck,
pick.
right?
Yeah, no, it wasn't
At the
Hasselbeck.
time,
It was dang, is that he was with the Packers, and then
Tavares Jackson.
nah, it was a white boy. I can't remember his name. It's because he got multi-million-dollar deal and never played because Russell
Damn, I
Wilson
didn't
beat
even
him
know
out.
that.
Yeah, he beat him out in the preseason. He was balling out, and Pete Carroll was like, I can't ignore this. And everyone looked at he had a bad situation too because he's only 5'10", so they're looking at it like, dang, he doesn't have the
Tangibles.
height and everything that a quarterback is not. That's what he is.
He ain't
And
looked the
he
look.
just so he proved himself and won that job, So I mean, people be forgetting that what Russell Wilson did to get in there. He wasn't even a top pick.
But
He was a
Aaron
low-end
Donald
pick.
put his ass in the hospital a couple weeks ago. You feel me? Broke that nigga finger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm glad he recovered, but don't come to LA thinking shit gonna be sweet. You get your ass
man,
beat.
that was a sad situation, man. We don't want to see Russell, and he looked. You
Don't
could
give
tell
a
that
fuck
finger
about
bothers
nobody.
him. His grip isn't there. So I think that over time he's gonna have. That's why I haven't even talked about the Seahawks. But what you think about Geno Smith? Geno Smith.
He made the most of his opportunity, man.
He did better than I expected.
Yeah, he made the most of his opportunity there, Geno. Because nobody gave Geno a shot when he left New York. Everybody was just like, all right, this nigga gonna be working at Best Buy next week. It's a wrap.
Yo, but he was a star quarterback at West Virginia. I was living in West Virginia when he was playing over there. Him and
was it
Tavon
Baltimore? Austin?
Tavon Austin from Baltimore. Yo, them two were together with roommates. I actually was their cable dude. I hooked up that cable.
Hey, what they have on the dresser?
Crazy shit. They were playing Madden. They were playing Madden, talking mad trash to each other and stuff like that.
All football players play Madden, bro.
Yeah, and Tavon, I didn't even know who he was until then. He saw that I had Ravens hat on. He was like, "You from Baltimore?" And then we was chopping it up. But it was mad cool when I was watching the West Virginia. Tavon was doing his thing. He played a hybrid position too, running back and wide receiver, and he was balling.
He was a baby Reggie Bush. He was a baby Reggie Bush.
Yeah. And I mean, it didn't translate as well as I think he went to the Rams when they weren't really knowing how to use him. This was before your coach was there.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
If Sean would have had Tavon Austin,
if Sean McVay was there, he would have definitely utilized him a lot better than he was. I just think he was poorly utilized, and unfortunately, over time, your career doesn't go forward; it goes backwards.
Yeah. He in Jacksonville now.
Yeah.
He in Jacksonville now.
He used to have that speed and like impressive vision. He was an excellent returner.
Cut back nasty.
Yeah, yo. Yeah, he was a great player. But not to get on a tangent.
Yeah, But so just to close this out, do you think the Super Bowl champion is going to have a guy that's a pocket passer, or do you think it's going to have somebody that can extend the play? So the last 2 years has been a variation of both, Pat and Tom.
So but do you consider Pat a mobile quarterback or a pocket passer that can move? Because
I consider him a mobile quarterback because if you watch the pressures, he doesn't just elude the pass rush. He's pulling the D ends this way. He's pulling the corners this way. He's pulling everybody around. In my opinion, he's a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of look at him more like a Steve Young mobile quarterback. Not a guy that relies on his legs, but will if he has to, versus like a Michael Vick that can rely on his leg at times, saying, I'm going to get these massive yards. But I mean, he's got to be considered a mobile quarterback, especially after what he did in the playoffs. So that means, remember, there was like this history saying that no actual prototypical mobile quarterback has won the Super Bowl. So that means that couldn't we say that myth is now dead now with Patrick Mahomes?
Because
Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's the one that killed
Yeah,
him, if you want to
I'm
be
sure
honest.
when they game planning for him, they're not just gonna say, "All right, just contain," or keep him
Yeah.
inside the hashes. They know they're gonna have to concede a little bit to him getting out the pocket and wiggling around.
Some crazy shit I just thought about. The Chiefs mobile quarterback Patrick Mahomes went to back-to-back Super Bowls. The Seahawks mobile quarterback
Back
Russell
to back,
Wilson back-to-back Super Bowls.
both against Tom on that second one. Tom the
And
GOAT.
and both lost.
Fought the elder Thomas Edward Brady.
But
Fuck
we all
Thomas
know why the Seahawks lost. It wasn't Tom Brady.
It was Pete Carroll's fault. Yeah,
It wasn't Pete Carroll's fault. It was the NFL's fault. Don't let
you think they
Marshawn
rigged
Lynch.
it?
Man, don't get me started on that.
What
Even
you think-
Marshawn Lynch said, "You know what the story is. I ain't gonna say nothing." Remember,
What you think would have happened if he won the Super Bowl? If they let Marshawn get the game winning,
he would have been the MVP because he was hitting 5 yards per carry. He already had a touchdown in that game. He was breaking tackle. He was the biggest part of that offense, and they didn't want him.
So
because that was the year.
NFL
I'm just here so I won't get fined. That was the year, yo.
They didn't want an Oakland nigga getting no shine. They didn't want the face of the NFL to be an Oakland.
I think it's
nigga.
because he was slapping the NFL all across the face the whole year with him saying, "I'm just here so I won't get fined," using that loophole. Remember, he was like, they were interviewing him to ask him
the
a
sunglasses
question.
on, the beast mode hoodies.
I'm just here so I won't get fined, and he'll be like, "Yes, yes,
yeah,
I'm just here so I won't get fined."
That's how niggas that's cheating answer questions. When you cheating on your wife, that's how. Was you over at Edwin house? Yes.
Yes.
What time you coming home? Nah.
Yes.
Nigga not giving no extra information. That's how I go, yeah. It's real, bro. But let's move on. I mean, we we both football heads, man. We can talk about football forever, man. But let's get a little bit into popular culture on another realm other than just sports, man. It's a lot of good movies coming out. Not just this weekend, but next weekend. I personally myself last night went to go see Clifford the Big Red Dog, nigga, with my kids. You know?
Did you? That's definitely a kid movie. I enjoyed the movie, but it wasn't definitely.
You saw Clifford?
I sure did. I did not. Yo, the movie was. I mean, it definitely was tailored for kids and family, and I think they were using Clifford as like accepting people even with their differences. That's like the storyline behind it. But
backdrop, yeah.
But
Paul
Rodriguez, yeah, it was definitely kid tailored to kids. Yeah. So as an adult, I was like, a lot of cheesy moments.
Yeah, but you knew what it was.
I was looking at it like this is for kids, and they did the CGI on Clifford was great as when he was big, but when he was tiny, did you see a couple times his head and his shoulders? Yeah, his head and shoulders a little bit. I'm like, what's wrong with his shoulders though?
He was premature.
That shit was hilarious. But that movie was funny. It had a lot of funny moments in it.
I mean, but we not. I mean, we talk about everything, nigga, but we not talking about Clifford. Nigga.
My screen don't like Clifford. Yo.
See, you talking about CGI? They gonna CGI.
I'm falling into the multiverse. Look, Doctor Strange is about to kick me into snap, WandaVision.
There you go, bro.
Looks like a comic book page. Hip hop.
It looked like the beginning of the Marvel movies. Don't you know when it go?
Yo. The page.
You about to get a sponsor, nigga.
If it does it again, Stan Lee's gonna be showing up on the screen.
The ghost of Stan Lee. So what's up? What's one movie you looking forward to, bro? Coming up,
man. The most anticipated movie, in my opinion, is Spider-Man: No Way Home. This thing kicked off with
juiced about that.
And Spider-Man is probably one of the biggest, comic book franchises aside from like Batman and Superman. Those are both DC, but Spider-Man, you remember the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man when that came out, that was setting records.
Yeah.
And then of course they came with the Andrew Garfield, and you're looking at it, and this Spider-Man No Way Home is almost like saying it's a culmination of all the Spider-Man movies because they're introducing the multiverse. They've already confirmed in the trailer that Dr. Octopus from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is gonna get kicked in here, because if you look at the last Spider-Man movie, did you see it? Spider-Man Far From Home, the movie after Endgame.
Nah, I didn't.
Oh man. So spoiler.
You can't spoil it for me because I'm not going to see it no way.
Hey, check it. Spoiler word. But you went to go see the Eternals. I don't understand.
That was for my son. He wanted to go. I don't really fuck with the
Hey,
MCU
your son
movies
is
like
gonna
that.
want to go see.
He
If you're
already
gonna
telling
take
me.
your son to see a Marvel movie, that's the one I anticipate. That's gonna be the best Marvel movie to date.
But listen, I'm gonna tell you this: if I go there and they pull a Eternals on this shit, we're
Yo,
not gonna do the
I'm gonna
podcast
tell
no
you
more because
right
I'm gonna
now.
fight a nigga in
Well,
the movie
look,
theater.
look,
Yo.
I'm gonna tell you right now, just to give you an idea. Imagine, the multiverse is vast. It's like different realities forming into one. That's gonna happen because at the end of Spider-Man, I'm gonna have to spoil it for you, but at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, he fights Mysterio, and Mysterio, he ends up having to
Rey
kill him.
Mysterio?
Yeah, no, not Rey Mysterio.
The fuck?
Mysterio is just his name. He's a
Oh,
character
okay.
that alter. He creates illusions. So he makes you see something that's not there. So that's
Okay.
why his name is Mysterio. But he created a whole storyline because he was trying to steal Stark Tech from Spider-Man, and also get himself in position to get funding by creating fake disasters, and he's the only one that can stop it. But while people thought he was fighting these elementals from different universes, he was creating illusions using drones. And then everyone thought this giant water monster was killing them, but all it was drones shooting water in the air, and then he was pretending like he was stopping it. Spider-Man, of course, thwarted that, and in the process ended up killing him. But he had a fail-safe. He discovered Spider-Man's identity as Peter Parker. So when after Spider-Man defeated him, he repossessed the Stark Tech of all the drones that he had, and he was MJ discovered Spider-Man's identity, and then he was taking her on a little flying ride. And next thing you know, you see J. Jonah Jameson pop up on the big screen, and he says the identity of Spider-Man has been revealed. Rey Mysterio says Peter Parker Spider-Man, and it made it look like
you just called the nigga Rey Mysterio. Right?
Yeah, I did because of you, yo. I'll take it.
But go ahead, my fault, yo.
Yeah. Hey, yo, comedy's comedy, yo. You put that seed in my brain and made me do
Inception,
it.
nigga. Inception.
Hey, you did it, yo. You in my head. But he ended up revealing his thing and made it look like Peter Parker murdered him, and he made him look still like the hero. So even though he died, he looked like the hero, and Peter Parker looked like he murdered him. Yeah, so he became a martyr. So that's where Spider-Man No Way Home starts, the revealing of him, and everyone, the whole world, thinking that he's a villain.
But they know it's Peter Parker. They
know he's
Spider-Man.
Peter Parker, so he can't hide. So now he's dealing with the stress of that. He ends up going to Doctor Strange and say, I can't do this, yo. My life is upside down. The people that I love are being scrutinized and being chastised because of who I am, and the story's wrong. So he asked if Doctor Strange could make people forget that he's Spider-Man.
Oh shit!
And Doctor Strange, Wong warned him, said, "Don't do it." And this is in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling nothing. He said, "Don't do it." And in the process of doing that, Peter realized that if he does this, not only will everybody forget, but also MJ, the girl he loves, will forget him too. And so he gets all fucked up in the process, and he starts blabbing at Doctor Strange. He's like, "Please shut up, Peter. You're gonna mess up the spell. Please shut up." And he kept saying, "But I don't want MJ. I don't want MJ to forget me." And before you know it, it just creates a hole into the reality, and the multiverse opens up, and multiple Spider-Verses open up. So what MCU is trying to do is trying to hide as much as possible, but they already revealed that Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin, with the original actors, Willem Dafoe, is playing the Green Goblin. So if you watch all of the Spider-Mans up to this point, you're gonna see these villains come back into the universe. Jamie Foxx is gonna be in it as Electro. Mr. Sandman's gonna be in it, the Lizard. So just imagine that. But they did not specify the two Spider-Mans, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. But the theory says that they are in it, but they're trying to hide it. You know, and then they had released a trailer after the show. Just watch that second trailer. There's a trailer in there where it shows Spider-Man fighting the villains and the lizards jumping at him. And actually, this is not even the American trailer; it's a Brazilian trailer. It shows
you digging
lizards.
deep. You digging deep.
Yeah,
Pablo to get his
the lizard's head suddenly just goes over like somebody punched them, but there's nobody there. It looks like they edited the other Spider-Mans out so that we don't know that they're in it.
Exactly which one.
So that's why there's so much anticipation. Because
is it going to be like Is it going to be like the Spider-Man with Miles Morales when it's like 9 or 7,
There's
9
actually a
Spider-Mans?
theory. Yeah, that's a different situation. But there's a theory that Miles Morales may or may not make an appearance in this too. But that's just a really stretch. That's a reach theory because nothing suggests that to be true. But if you're already including Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield,
Bring the
who's gonna play
Dominicans in, nigga.
Yo, you gotta bring them in, yo.
Gotta
He
bring the
said, bring
Dominicans
the
in, nigga.
Dominicans in. Yeah, you
Need
definitely
the
do. So I mean, I would not put it past it. That's what makes this movie so compelling to watch because you don't know what you're gonna get. It's gonna be extravagant. We're talking about the Sinister Six. It's a comic book storyline. But who's the sixth character? Because we only got 5 villains right now. Now I'm gonna give you some more spoilers. If you watch Venom,
Let There Be Carnage.
Let There Be Carnage. The cut
That was
scene
okay.
at the end. You saw that, right?
Yeah,
Did you
that was
see the
okay.
cut scene at the? Did you see the end credits cut scene?
No, I slid right after the movie was over.
Bro, you messed
What happened?
up. At the end of the credits, it comes back and they're like chilling like in paradise, and he's like in a hotel room chilling, and they're discussing stuff.
Him and Carnage, the white guy in Carnage.
No, him and Venom.
And Venom.
Eddie Brock and Venom are just talking smack, and Venom was basically telling them that, hey, you I don't think you're ready to understand my race. Is like we expand over millions and millions of years, and we have what's called a hive mind. And if I tapped you into that, you probably couldn't handle it. He says, are you really ready to handle millions of years of a hive mind? And then right when he said that, everything went, and then it like flickered out. And then the TV screen shown the same thing from No Way Home. Not No Way Home, but from Far From Home, when Jonah Jameson was revealing the identity of Spider-Man. That same broadcast came on the TV screen. And then Venom overtook Brock and went to the screen and said, this guy, and licks the fucking screen, and then it ends, bro. So the theory is that in that moment, that's the moment when Doctor Strange was creating the spell, and when he did that, it sucked Venom into their universe. But they were still in that hotel, but they were in Peter
Parker's
MCU.
world.
Yeah, in the MCU. So that everyone's thinking that he's the 6th villain in the Sinister Six. So we might see Venom in this movie. There's no other indication that he's in the movie. He's not in any trailers. There's no indication, nothing. But that one cutscene of him licking Tom Holland's face on the screen, showing that he's Peter Parker.
So it sounds like the thing between this one and the rest of them is it's the mystery of it. You don't really know what's going on.
Yes, like there's a lot of theories and there's a lot of things that kind of suggest that it's true, but there's no definitive proof. So you're watching this movie to see, am I right? Is this gonna happen?
When does it come out, yo?
December 17th on Friday.
Okay.
It's like, yo, this is so anticipated that I actually made plans to see my cousin in Delaware. I'm gonna drive from North Carolina to fucking. I'm not even shitting you. We already got the tickets ready to be bought. So the 29th they go on sale. My cousin's gonna buy all the tickets. It's gonna be like 5 of us to go see it. I'm gonna drive to Delaware, stay the whole weekend, and have like a whole weekend thing about this. We're gonna go up the day before.
That's crazy, bro.
Watch all the Spider-Mans leading up to that movie.
So it's fresh.
Yeah, yo, it's gonna be.
You gonna watch the first Spider-Man?
The Tobey Maguire, all 3, and the Andrew Garfield, both of them, right? And then we're gonna watch all the Spider-Mans of the MCU leading up to
the Dominican one too.
Hey, do you realize that the Spider? No, that was not part of it.
Y'all niggas best see y'all racist.
He said the Dominican one too. Yo, we should watch it, but I've seen that movie too many times. I don't need to see that one again. That's one. Nah, that movie's the truth. Did you see that?
I know that's a bomb-ass movie.
Yeah, yo, that shit's the truth. I still like that scene when he puts on his new Spider-Man suit and that "What's Up Danger" song comes on. And he's like, "What's up,
hello, Danger." Yeah,
he's like, "What's up, Danger?" Yo, that was good, man.
That was a good one, man. That was a good one.
But yeah, yo, I'm telling you right now, you're gonna enjoy that movie. It's gonna be redemption for you in Marvel. And when you see that movie, you're gonna be compelled to go, hold up. So much is going on. I'm gonna have to go back. It's gonna make you go home and probably watch the Spider-Mans you
stream
missed.
It. Okay.
Because you're gonna want to, because this movie is
tie it all together.
Yeah, man. Think about 6 characters from different timelines coming in together at one. Spider-Man's fighting it. Try to undoing a mistake. He has to undo a mistake. He's saying, I should have just left things alone and just dealt with this problem at hand. Sometimes trying to fix something, he made it worse.
Running away from it. Yeah. That's life.
Made it worse.
They dropping life lessons, bro. I never really got into the the MCU thing too heavy, man.
Yeah.
I know it's a ton of people who that shit is. I mean, that shit is a
Yeah,
culture for a
yo,
lot of people.
the
It's like
Marvel
Star
geeks are
Wars
going
type shit.
crazy over this movie. Like
Yeah.
this Spider-Man movie,
I
everybody.
can see, nigga. I can
Yo,
see.
I promise you, it goes on sale November 29th, right? And I promise you by November 30th, the first weekend's gonna be sold out. Yo, count it, book it.
Damn.
The weekend of the show when this happens, we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna say, yup, they sold out. And I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna have 5 tickets.
I was 5 of those sellouts.
$5.
$5 foot long. Oh my goodness, bro. Oh my goodness, man.
You just made me hungry.
That's
yeah,
crazy,
let's move
man.
on to the next because I'll talk about Spider-Man all day, man.
I see, bro. I was letting you vent. I was letting you get it out.
I was going in, but I want you to see it specifically just because you were so let down from Eternals.
I don't think never gonna make up from that Eternals, man. I just let it go. I'm on to the next thing. I'm on to the next thing.
Yes, he's gonna force you to see this movie, and you're gonna leave that theater just being so happy and like, I can't believe I gotta tell Edwin I like this movie.
I ain't hard up like that. Like, ain't nothing gonna change my mind, yo. I ain't like that, but
it's like you gonna post about it. I promise you.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. Well, I'm always open and receptive to a good movie, you know. Even Clifford, you know. So we'll see, man. But I don't know if you know, man. You heard about it this weekend or this past week. The rap, you know, you fucks with rap music and all of that, and the rapper Young Dolph was killed out in Memphis.
Right.
Outside of a cookie shop, man. That same day he was slated to give away some food and everything to the community.
It was last Wednesday, was it not?
I'll be lying if I coined the exact day, but I know it was sometime during this past week that just passed.
Maybe it was Wednesday. This past Wednesday just passed, right?
Yeah, it was this week. It was just we're still in the week of Saturday. So it made me think a lot about gang culture, man, and I know a lot of communities got their forms of gangs like the mafia and the cartel and the yakuza and shit like that. But it seems like to me, in some senses of in Black culture, Black and Hispanic culture, especially in LA and things like that, we have unstructured gang culture. If you look back in the 70s and 80s and shit like that, when the beginning of the Crips and Bloods, it was more so the gangs were more so for community protection and just to make sure things was working the right way, sort of like they was with the mafia. But in today's gang culture, from my opinion, from what I'm seeing, it's a lot of senseless violence, it's a lot of jealousy, it's a lot of hate. And I'm just always trying to figure out why, what's the contributing factor behind why these ideas and this recklessness is coming into the community. They said I saw something in New Orleans and they said for every one gang member killed, you could automatically assume 2 innocent people were killed in the exchange, and it's a real heavy subject, but I feel like it's something that we should talk about. And why is it that we find ourselves in a position to retaliate against each other in gang culture, but if we see something like George Zimmerman take place, these same gangbangers and gang members in Florida, they won't approach George Zimmerman on that same hostile on-site type shit. But when it's one of our own or one of our own homies from our community, why is it so quick that we quick to react on it just off of raw emotion,
I think this is a problem that's kind of so expansive. It's like, we can look at it from a systemic point of view. Is this like the objective of, a lot of artists, like, from back in the day, if you go back from the artists in the day, like, especially like KRS-One, is telling you, like, some of the political aspects that we talk about is like how they try to push the culture and like the ghetto together. That's why, the projects is like, because if you squeeze everybody small together, everybody struggling, they'll tend to fight each other for scraps. Right. While everyone on the outside lives well and prosperous. And and some of the things is like it's promoting like hip hop music that kind of like encourages the rivalries between like factions of like hip hop factions, but it kind of stems in between from gangs. It's like you can look at it as like gang life is starting to bleed into hip hop life as far as like this set versus this set, right. And it's like rivalry because everybody's fighting for the same bone. So that's why it's different when you see like George Zimmerman taking out Trayvon, everybody comes together. The Rodney King thing, they had, remember, Bloods and Crips at some point said there were going to be a truce. to try to like come together for that thing. But it's like it's called the common enemy. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. But in the end, when everything, the dust settles, it goes back to the way it is, because it's still the system. The system is designed to keep people in their lane, and they're fighting for the same piece of the pie. Only one person can eat that pie. And I think that gang violence is not like something that, like, you know, even though in hip hop culture it sometimes seems like that's kind of like the thing that they want, but I feel like that's not really what it is. What it is, you know, you got a small area and only can be one king. You know, it can only be one guy to run this. And then when you butt his two kings, only one king could take the throne. Though it's like, it's almost like they got us out here, our culture's fighting like Game of Thrones.
That's heavy, man.
And it's just, it's tough, because then you see deaths of these people. And then Dolph, he was real big in like community and doing like
advancements,
charities and stuff like that. And
he was buying up a bunch of the abandoned properties in Memphis, man, giving them to his kids, allocating them to people.
He was doing positive things. So it's not like, even though his music is spanned over a thing, because it's entertainment, man, it's expression. You know, it's one thing, just like you make a violent movie, it doesn't mean that you're a violent person, but you're just doing things because these are expressive things. And some of them may come from where you come from and what you've lived through, but at the same time, you're expressing yourself.
It's a piece.
You know,
it's a piece.
Yeah. So
how much of that do you think? How much of that, like you said, you fighting for the same lane, you fighting for your position in the same lane, but I think sometimes that comes down to people wanting to live in excess and to show off, or to be or portray an image. Like, how much of, you know, personal adornment or personal gratification and over exuberance and wearing 10 chains and having all that, do you think that's what the artists actually want, or do you think that's something that they're doing to fill that obligatory image of a rapper? Like, you'll have rappers like J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, who are prolific rappers, but they not on no nigga shit, you know, they're not wilding out. I mean, then you got white rappers like Riff Raff, who doing the same shit that you know, a crazy ass rapper might have 50 chains on and shit like that. How much of that do you think is actually the rapper or the gang member or the person perpetrating this image, as opposed to how much it is just, I have to fit in, I have to act this way, I have to look this way in order to be perceived as a valid rapper?
I think it's a combination of both in most instances. There's probably some artists out there that's probably had more of a conventional lifestyle, but they're trying to fit in a lane. And then you got your artists that actually came up in that lifestyle and try to create their artistry in that way. And then you got the guys that's kind of like right down the middle, you know. And I think it's just like the culture, it's the culture that kind of is established versus what the people like to listen to. So I think that a lot of the influence also comes from the listeners. You know, some artists feel the pressure to say, hey, this is what my fans like from me. Because I think it comes down to fans. You got to support your artists regardless. Whenever they take artistic liberties and try to show you something different, support it, because you got to let the artist know that we don't only like you because you're doing this trap music. We like you because you're a great artist and we like what you represent. So support that artist, because then you got artists like, you know, back in the Rockefeller days, you know, when Rockefeller was big, you know, you had some of those young artists in there that were an interview saying they're struggling because they wanted to make music that was expansive, but they were afraid that if they did that, they would lose they'll get shut down. So I think that pressure is always going to be there, because people want to say, hey, what's your street cred? And the street cred is a huge thing now in hip hop.
Right.
And it's like, you know, I don't want to damage that, you know, but then you got your artists like, who's that one artist that he's like very, very eccentric and Tyler the Creator.
Okay.
Like, you know, he's very eccentric and he's like goes all over the map. And then those artists already have fan bases that like that kind of stuff. But then you gotta, if you start off one way, it's almost like you get put into a little
stuck
box.
In that lane. Yeah,
you stuck in that lane, and it makes it harder for you to expand from that. And I think that it's all about the listeners. If the listeners support the artist regardless, and even if it's not as good, still support them in some way, so that way they can keep expanding their artistic range,
expressing themselves, you know? Right? Exactly. Because people grow and people change and ideas change.
You can't stay the same, Yeah, and that I think that's a lot has plays to do with it. Sometimes the artists get stuck in a box because they're afraid if they expand, then their viewership will drop. And that's what it comes down
That's
to. You know,
crazy, man.
an artist shelf life is small, man. If you ain't staying relevant, staying ahead of the game,
You
you could be
did, nigga.
today's big star, and tomorrow's has been forgotten.
That's very true,
Quit.
man. And I think the music people try to minimize the influence of music, but I was sitting here thinking about that. I was like, man, music, you should be able to do your own thing. The music shouldn't influence you. But when I think back to me as a child, I remember putting aluminum foil on my teeth, nigga, because I wanted to be like Paul Wall and Mike Jones and them niggas, you know. So I
Yeah.
was like, it's kind of foolish, but adults sometimes have that same impression. This too. You think as you get older, oh man, nothing can influence me. But I mean, you see the influences of the world in adults every day with designer clothes and the type of car they buy and the neighborhood they lives in. All of those are existential influences on a person, you know. So sometimes I just wonder, what is it inside of us as humans that is it just wanting to fit in? Some people give you excuses. Oh, it's just what I like to wear. I can't wear a Walmart t-shirt. I just can't wear that. When in all actuality, if you put it on, you're not gonna fucking burst into flames. You know, you can wear that shit. So I sometimes wonder, why is it that we put so much emphasis on personal adornment as opposed to just focusing on what truly makes us happy? And sometimes I wonder, is that a big reason for the antidepressants and all of the psychological problems we have in America? Because it's got to be something, man. It can't just be more people are anxious and more people suffer from anxiety just because. It has to be some type of influence or cause or driving factor behind that, from my opinion. But who knows?
I agree exactly. I was trying to while you was talking, trying to fix my mic, and I actually made it what's called worse. I tried to reset my my
That looked like
camera,
the same.
thinking,
That looked like the blade, the shit Blade was using to kill vampires. Nigga, you see that screen you got right now? That shit he was throwing to kill Deep Frost. Remember he ran up on that nigga.
I think the problem is my the USB drive. So I'm gonna try to plug it in a different port and
Okay.
see if that works. But man, we gotta keep going. Keep
Oh yeah,
flowing,
yeah,
man.
no, yeah, man.
I'm gonna
So
keep. I'm gonna
so
keep it on you as long as you guys can hear me.
Oh yeah, we could definitely hear you, man. We could definitely hear you. So another thing I wanted to talk about, man. Last weekend I was in Las Vegas, and I saw a lot of people not being in the moment. It was a lot of couples out there, man. I sort of felt weird because I wasn't with my girl, but it was a lot of couples in Las Vegas, man. And I saw a lot of fucking couples arguing in Las Vegas. A lot of people beefing, a lot of people arguing with one another, and I think it's because of social media, man. I think having the social media in our lives now not only brings us apart from it, brings us together, but it also brings us apart. It's a double-edged sword, in my opinion. And I wonder, do you think it was easier to be dating? Because I'm married. I've been out the game. You feel me? But I talk to a lot of my single homies and they give me their input on it. But I think it would be easier dating back in the, let's say, early 90s, late 90s, than it is now with the access to everybody. You have it takes back in the 90s, it probably, you had to muster up the courage, you had to get dressed, make yourself smell good, do all of these things before you approach someone, male or female. But now all it takes is a DM slide and a couple of stage pictures from your night out with your homies that you blew your stimulus check on. That's all it takes to get some ass now. So do you think? Are you still there, Edwin? No, he slid. I'm gonna keep talking on my own though. I think it was a lot easier to just to do that back then because you didn't have those external influences on you. Is mommy here? I think you didn't have those external influences on your life pushing you to be somebody you didn't want to be. Edwin, what's up? Welcome back. I was just talking about I was
I really apologize, man. I am just
no,
gonna leave it the way it is. We're gonna have to just let it rock, and I
yeah,
have to.
yeah, we'll
It's
work on that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a call for GoFundMe for my nigga Edwin's camera. The phone number is 1-800 help us out. Again,
yo,
1-800 help us.
help us out. My webcam literally died to the point there's no lights on the front of it. I tried to reset it. I don't even
was a
get lights
warning.
on the bad boy, yo. Those
That
little
flickering
things,
was a warning.
it was telling me that it was no good. I am gonna have to spend more on the. I try to get the deal. Sometimes when you get the sale gets you.
The sale gets you.
The
Damn.
sale got me, son, because
that's what we was getting for talking about Maxine all last week. They cut your ass short.
Maxine,
you said the V word too many times.
It's like Maxine. I was like, oh, you said vaccine. Oh, vaccine.
Kill that nigga camera. Hey, can you still see me though?
Yo, I can see you, hear you. Everything's good. The only thing is I can't. All I see is a little shuriken ninja star on the front.
Shuriken, that's what it's called. Okay, not the blade knife. Shuriken. That's about the blade knife.
We'll continue, and I apologize. I completely
you good, bro?
Botched that. I should have just left that orange and yellow screen that was up there. At least there was.
You should have left the Marvel intro page on, but it's all good. It's all good. So hold on, let's move over real quick, man, to talk about something that's ultra pressing right now. Hey, my baby gonna give me a kiss. She just came home. Come here, mama. Come on, don't act shy. All right. So let's talk about what's going on with this Kyle Rittenhouse shit, man. A lot of people talking about this. It's a very, 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 very hot topic. A lot of people on both sides are I say sides because that's the main thing people lean to when they talking about the fucking law. They talk about liberals or Republicans, Democrats, Republicans. When I feel like it's completely detached from that. It should be put into right and wrong, not necessarily a political affiliation. But I'm obviously one of the people, not obviously, but I am one of the people who think that he should have been convicted. I feel like he was in where he was not supposed to be with a weapon, protecting shit that wasn't his. I mean, that should be the cut and drive. Something that the great Dick Gregory would always say: legal doesn't mean right, and the criminal justice system and frankly white supremacist system has used the law and manipulated the law to benefit them historically. But just wanted to get a few points on how you feel about it, dog.
I'm gonna agree with you, but I'm probably gonna also state some unpopular opinions on the situation because it's almost like I'm on the fence about two things. The first thing that we can look at, he was 17 at the time of this happening, which means he was underage, which means that he had no legal rights to possess a AR type rifle in his possession in public. That was already a no. And he also lived in Illinois, although there was right by the state line, so he was only about 25 minutes from his home to that location. It was across state lines, and there was a curfew in play that he also violated. Both of these things says that if he would have done what he was supposed to and followed the law, he would have not had a weapon and he would have not been there. However, this is what's going to kind of erase that. There was videos showing that he was already approached by police officers while possessing said weapon. And not only did they not take the weapon and send him home, they gave him a water and thanked him for being there. They said, we appreciate you being here, because as they were saying that there was some militia gentleman that was also there that was supposedly there to assist the police in trying to keep the peace during the protests that was going on. Now, that being said, we don't know for a fact if that means that those police officers deputized him, and that means that automatically eliminates the fact that he was in the wrong of being there and carrying a weapon, because if two police officers did not do anything, they already gave that kid a sense of right and allowed him to conduct himself by being there and feeling a sense of, I'm supposed to be here. I agree that's wrong and it shouldn't have happened, because that's a sense of, like, we talk about white privilege, and that in a sense displays that. Because if he was anything other than a white kid, he probably would have not been greeted, but probably put in handcuffs. If anything, he would have been put down at gunpoint saying, put your weapon down and get down on the ground. They would have disarmed him, locked him up, charged him for breaking curfew and illegal brandishing of a weapon as a minor, and those shootings would have never occurred. So now, that being said, he was allowed to conduct himself already breaking the law. So now we're going to look at it, the Kyle Rittenhouse as the active shooter in the killing of two men and injuring a third. The first person that he came into contact with was named Joseph Rosenbaum. Now, apparently, Joseph Rosenbaum wasn't even there for the riot. He had just been released, I think, from the hospital or from jail. If anything, and he was carrying a bag which apparently carried like some of his personal belongings, toothbrush and soap and whatnot. At some point, an altercation ensued between him and Kyle, causing him to throw that bag at Kyle and chase him, and threatening Kyle to some way of physical harm. Now, as he chased the kid, it led into Kyle then shooting him multiple times. I think it was a total of 4 times.
Do they have that on camera of him chasing Kyle? Or is that allegedness?
I think some of the shooting directly wasn't on camera, but I think there was a show where he threw the bag at him and started to chase him. I think that was on somebody's film. So they did show that, but they didn't show the whole thing, the actual shooting of it. So we saw that he did chase him. So that shows that he was the initial aggressor in that confrontation. That doesn't mean that Kyle had reason to shoot him, but we can't say otherwise. We just look at what we see. He shoots him 2 times in the side and then once in the head, I think, right?
A lot of the things that were said in court, or struck from the judge on this case, was total. He's probably a grand dragon at a Ku Klux Klan lodge somewhere. But a lot of the things like the drone footage that was from that night weren't allowed in court.
Wow.
So I say all that to say, a lot of people that were on the grounds that weren't allowed to have their statements put into court was saying that Kyle was walking around the whole night. Y'all get out of here. Get out of here. Being the aggressor.
Really?
And it's led to, it leads me to believe, just outside of law, just basic common sense. See, white people, well, I'm not gonna let me calm down. White supremacists in the court system will say they'll use all the legal jargon to justify after the fact, but they won't admit or submit to facts that happen before the fact. So if you're walking around with an AR-15 pointing at people all night, protecting property that's not yours, at some point people are going to get tired of you. The same thing you saying, I'm here for justice, I'm here for that. If you're walking around pointing a gun at everybody all night, eventually somebody going to say, hey man, we got to cut this kid off. And actually they had a video of somebody saying, hey man, he was walking up like, hey man, I'm trying to give you some medical help. People was like, man, I don't want no medical help from you. You was the cat that was waving guns at us up the block earlier. We don't need no medical attention. It's just baffling to me how to go ahead.
Yeah, so I agree. So see, these are things that I didn't know about because I'm looking at it from the trial. See, it's different. Just like you said, they're already setting the stage. So that makes me reapproach that. So that means that from the beginning, they were almost setting the stage for this kid to have a way out of a bad situation.
Oh, of course,
by showing the police officers, allowing him to be there. The only footage that was shown in the court thing was the dude chasing him to show that
beneficial shit.
So I mean, we could look at it. The prosecution failed the justice system because
I think the prosecution was in bed with them, bro. I think
maybe
all of these cats, they when they get in the courtroom, they beefing. As soon as the courtroom closed, they had Applebee's having drinks, snorting cocaine off strippers' titties. I mean, that's just how it go, bro. That's reality. Yeah. I know a few lawyers and I know a few attorneys, and when I ask them about this, they happen to be white gentlemen. Yes, they do. I'm not going to name the firm they work for, but when I ask them about this,
we do know that you're right. We do know that after he killed Rosenbaum, he did make a phone call to somebody and said, "I just killed someone."
But that wasn't the last murder, though.
It wasn't. And now the second one is the one that lets me know that there's something sketcy about this kid, is because the second one, this dude also attacked him, but it was a defensive type of attack. It looked like he was trying to keep him from shooting anybody else, almost as if he was displaying the possibility of maybe shooting into the crowd or therefore shooting at someone else, period, because the crowd had just found out that he killed Joseph. And I think that they were trying to inform the police, that was the riot control police, that this kid just killed someone, and they were basically ignoring them. And he, I think, was being aggressive because he may have heard that. And that's when Anthony Huber decided, and his girlfriend said that he suddenly acted and reacted. And she says he's always been a kind and peaceful person, but I think that he was feeling like he had to protect me and the people around us. That he went after him. He grabbed the barrel of the weapon, and he had a skateboard. He proceeds to try to pull the
Whack
weapon
him
from
with
him,
it.
and he hits him with a skateboard. Now the barrel of the gun was pointing towards his abdomen. At that point, a shot rang out, and he got shot straight in the abdomen, which led to him bleeding out and dying. But what would possess a man who was always known to be a peaceful dude there that had nothing to do with the situation to suddenly decide he's going to try to disarm this kid? That lets me know that there's more to that story, that kid was possibly doing something, an act that looked aggressive. Like after he just killed Joseph, he got a rush from it maybe and
Who
said,
won
"Oh
it?
my gosh.
Yeah. Who won it?
Yeah." And he was
Who
like,
won it?
oh,
He was
it's
going
on
ham.
now. Like he's like, it's on now.
You know what's
And
crazy? You just brought up a good point, man. You said that I wonder if the police will face any ramifications for this, for not apprehending him or not doing anything when they seeing this young man, because
they won't.
People were people were telling
threw that out. Remember, the judge threw out both charges. The curfew and the legal possession of that firearm got thrown
crazy,
out.
bro. That's crazy, bro. But but I say that to say this: the police's inaction is forgiven, right?
Yeah.
For not acting when someone died. But Travis Scott is facing the whole fucking gauntlet of scrutiny and being lost tours and having to pay for these people's funerals for his 30 to 40 minute inaction. You know, it's just the duality of our system is just crazy, man.
It's showing they're basically just parading white privilege in front of us and then telling us that it doesn't exist. It's like you're literally brandishing it right in front of my face, like throwing out two charges that will implicate two police officers, because
the
that's
deadlock
in my mind, that if they would have charged that kid with the curfew law and the brandishing of that weapon, they would have had to charge those police officers for not stopping
enforcing the law.
So basically, we can blame the death of those two people and the injury of the third on
the cops,
on those two cops for not acting on what they should have. Like, hey man, you're a kid. I appreciate you trying to help us and everything. You need to relinquish that weapon and go home. And they should have took the weapon, said your parents, if they're the ones that have license for this weapon, we're gonna take it into our possession. They're gonna have to come fill out a form and we'll release it back to them. But you're not supposed to have this weapon and you need to be home. That's what should have happened.
It's crazy,
but it didn't. It didn't happen.
And they're sweeping it under the rug.
Yeah, and whether or not it was self-defense that he killed those two dudes, what we have to look at is, why did one dude try to take your weapon for you? Two of the dudes was unarmed. One dude's hitting you with a skateboard, holding your weapon. He feels like, to me, that looks like he feels like you're a threat.
Yeah,
and
if
he's
I don't
defending
stop him,
himself.
Right.
Yeah, he's almost like, if I don't take this weapon for this kid, he's gonna shoot an innocent person, possibly my girl who's here too.
Right.
You know, and his protection instincts kicked in, and he just acted out of protection instinct, and he ended up losing his life. I don't even know what the third dude was doing, to be honest with you.
He just caught a hot one. He was like, I got three more in the clip.
Gun. Look, he has a handgun, pulls it out, but yet does not point it or attempt to shoot him or something. From what I heard, as he put it in the air, I don't know what he did.
That's stupid, though. If you know somebody's shooting somebody, now that one, if you know somebody's shooting somebody, if you pull out a gun, you can assume that you're gonna be in a gun battle. Don't just pull out a gun and hold it in the air. That's not Beverly Hills Cops.
Then realize, it's almost like he was gonna do something, and mid pull out, he says, "I don't want to be in a gunfight."
Right. This is where I fucked up.
And you think that this kid who just shot two people is gonna hesitate? He probably hesitated the first time, but after he just killed someone, called and said he did it, killed the second dude, you think that I apologize. Now I got my phone ringing in the background. I'm just
that's that GoFundMe money. That's that GoFundMe money coming in. Nigga, pick up the phone.
Dial 917-1439-211. He give you the long dick hip hop affection.
Oh my goodness,
guaranteed you can't step in my direction. All right,
bars, nigga. So going from all of that, man, I think this should shine. I mean, this is good. A lot of people are crying and complaining about it, but this is good because it's going to give us a marquee case to point to recently, not nothing in the 40s and the 50s, something recently to point to as a clear and apparent case of white supremacy being put on just be, hey, we white nigga push this shit through.
Yeah, yeah,
Fuck the law, fuck what y'all talking about. And I really feel like it divided the country, not as in right or
yeah.
wrong,
It really
victim,
does. This situation divides everyone. It doesn't help
but
the situation
it
at
doesn't. It
all.
doesn't. And we're not looking at it clearly. We're looking at it as Dems and
Yeah,
Republicans. That should have nothing to do with this. If you see people arguing about this, they say, well, you liberals shouldn't have won. These was people that got shot. Fuck all that political shit right now. So that brings me to the point to ask you, how much do you think, what weight and what value do you think voting has in this American society, with the evidence on the table now that whether you right or wrong, in the right place or the wrong place, guilty or innocent, white supremacy will push you through
yeah,
if you fall into that realm. What do you think? Do you
yeah,
think voting, because a lot of people will go vote and they'll get their stickers, I voted stickers, but then you ask them about some policies on the candidate that they voted for, and they really draw a blank. You could talk to
yeah.
maybe I go out on a limb and say 90% of people don't really, they're too caught
Yeah,
up in their
they just
Lexus
vote
truck, their
one way or
house,
another.
their
They don't vote.
iPhone.
Yeah,
Right.
yep, yep. They just say, "Oh, I'm gonna go in there and just vote all Democrat, or I'm gonna vote all Republican," and you're not thinking about specifics. Because if you're really looking at each candidate, then you're gonna say, "I might vote this a Republican candidate and Democrat," because in the end, what it comes to is it's about the candidates. It's not
Right.
about Democrat or Republican. If we
It's
can
about the
just stop
policy.
thinking about saying it's all them Republicans or all them Democrats, but each politician has his own set of values and upbringings that they're going
Right.
to incorporate into what they want to put into when they're in office. So, and also part of the fact is what's really gonna change this is we need to get better options. You know what I mean? It's like,
Bingo.
hey
Yes.
man, everyone vote so we could change. We're not going to change nothing if all of the options are shit. You know what
Right.
I mean? Everybody that we're voting for are all shit. So I mean, what really are we changing? We need to start. What we really need to do is we got to start from the ground up. We got the kids. What is it saying? The children are our future. It's funny
Mm-hmm.
because that's a song, but that's reality. If you got
Mm-hmm.
kids that's coming up and start to involve themselves in positive, and there's a lot of kids out there right now in high school that involving themselves like doing
Yeah, especially with
nonprofits and stuff.
social media. Yeah, it's so
Us
easy to get
parents, we
involved.
need to uplift those kids because those are the next politicians that can come up. We need to bring them in so that we can
Mm-hmm.
filter out some of this trash that's in the politics and
Right.
start bringing these kids up and showing them the right way, rewarding the kids that's going in the right path, opening lanes for them so they can come in, so they can interject into this policy. And this is something that's going to not happen overnight. This is going to be decades before we can make changes because one, yes, we all got to vote, but two, we got to make sure that we get the right candidates in place so we could choose from a large amount of people that's going to actually instill changes within the system. We got to change it from the inside out, and that's what the problem is. Corrupt on the inside, and
Well,
as long as it's
go ahead, finish your thought.
Go ahead. So as long as it's corrupt on the inside, it don't matter how much we vote because they're just recycling the same garbage over and over again. We gotta start to infiltrate from the inside and bring some new faces in there, some new blood that's got new policies and is for the positive change. And that's what it's got to come to. It's a whole system that has to change.
Well, I don't necessarily think it'll take decades, man, because things get done when you put your money behind it. And I think that's a big problem with our society today. Niggas just want to talk. It's nobody wants to be burdened with making a financial sacrifice or a social sacrifice or standing on anything. It's much more easier to just say I voted and being anonymous with your vote. People do tell you, I'm a Democrat or a Republican, but to be anonymous with your vote and to just, hey, I voted, that's it. I'm not putting no money behind it, because believe it or not, presidents, I don't give a fuck what you believe, what president believe in. We're gonna go stop the border crisis. No, they're gonna do what the funders of their campaign tell them to do. And it doesn't take a while. It didn't take long for them to get these emissions credits done. It didn't take long for any of that because the money was behind it. So I think us as individuals, we have to say, you know what? I'm not going to buy an iPhone 13 this year. I'm not going to go get a Lexus truck this year. I'm going to put some money into the representatives that are really support my community, because I've seen a lot of politicians that come from the grassroots. By the time they get to where they want to be, or at least an influential platform, they're turned out, and now they're just speaking the same points that the ones before them did, because there's campaign dollars are coming in from Amazon, or those campaign money's coming in from Exxon, and they have to acquiesce to the people who are funding them, who are paying their bills. And that's just like any job. If you go to job, they say, if you go to work, they're like, yo, you can't wear them Jabot jeans in here. You're not gonna be like, fuck y'all, I'm wearing these. They pay your bill, so you have to listen to what they say. I feel like I just feel like that's the problem, man. We as a, back in the
lobbyists.
Yeah, lobbyists. It's back in the day. I mean, people talk about going back to the greatness of America and all of that shit like that. But back in the day, niggas was ready to die for what they believed in. Now, the most you can get out of a nigga is a Facebook post or Instagram picture. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do, and then I'm going right back in the club drinking some E&J and trying to fuck on this fat bro. And that's the long and the short of it. A lot, especially in my community, especially when Obama was running, people would just say, "I'm voting for Obama." Why? He black. He use a brush and a comb like me. A nigga actually told me that, because he used a brush and a comb. That's why you voting for this nigga. Come on, bro. We have to be smarter than that.
But remember, though, the one positive thing that came from that is, I don't know. You know what we should do? We got to read Obama's book. He literally talks about his whole entire time and term in office, versus like, what his expectation was and what he actually wanted to do versus what he was able to do, because he kept getting blocked at every turn he came to. So he had to accept the victories that he wanted and accept that he couldn't get everything done because he was getting a lot of blowback. So it's crazy, because although a lot of people voted for him specifically just because we need to get the first black president in there, but he actually did come in with a motivation to try to do something, and he created voting. He made voting a thing. Like, I can't tell you how many people that I knew that never even thought about voting that suddenly says, I'm voting. I remember that I'd be in lines with a vote, and it'd be short lines. When Obama was a candidate, I had to wait almost an hour before I got to my
did they tell you why? Did they tell you why though? Like, if you vote in aimless, I'm personally not a big Obama supporter, because black people put him in office and he didn't do anything for black people. That's
well, I think you should read his book. You should read
his book. His book is a lie. I'm looking at his actions.
No, you think
I'm not gonna necessarily say it's a lie.
He's explaining. He's explaining a lot of things and stuff that he had problems with.
Because he did stuff for the LGBT. Not saying he shouldn't have, but he did stuff for immigrants. He did stuff for LGBT. He did stuff for a lot of people, but he didn't do anything for the people who was out here stomping for him, against the grain, going to work, having to deal with their white supremacist boss. Oh yeah, you got those Obama lips, Kevin. And then, shit like that. They stopped for him and he didn't do anything. He veiled it under, everyone's gonna benefit from this. No, bro. What did you do specifically for the black people that look like you? I just feel like if you're black, or if you're Latino, if the Latin people if the Latino community puts you in place for them, and then you neglect to do something for the Latino community, the Latinos not gonna fuck with you. Same as the Asians. If the Asian community put their advocates in a place to advocate for them, and then they turn around and say, "Oh, today we're going to do what about the Hispanics at the border," they gonna be like, "Nigga, that's not why we put you there, bro." That's not. People always say that their hands are tied, but the proof is in the pudding, man. I saw no policy.
We got it. We on the outside looking in though too. So we can say, when you go in the belly of the beast, look. Just go to show this dude Trump
went hard for white supremacists, nigga. He went hard. This dude, LeBron, nigga.
I'm talking about this dude Trump did some blatant things that should have got him impeached, but because of the way the system is set, it's a vote. This dude literally just got voted to stay in, yo.
Well, not really, because Trump just blocked information. He withheld information.
It doesn't matter, yo. Like, it doesn't matter, because when it comes down to it, you needed the 3/4 Senate, and he did. The 3/4 Senate did not vote him to be impeached, and that's
because they didn't have the information. They didn't have the valid information.
It's not about the information. everybody, that's Jace. They just said it's like it's almost like it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? When a decision's made, is made. You know how
So
they
why
do
would it
votes.
matter? Why would it matter? Why is it
Why
that
does
Trump
that
can get
pertain
away with
to?
stuff and not Obama?
That's what I was saying. So if you look at the dynamic, right, of how Trump was able to get away with the shit that he got away with versus why didn't Obama get the stuff done, that doesn't tell you right there. Obviously, the support is on the other side.
So what did Obama propose for black people? Like we didn't even get a
I didn't,
proposal.
I know I didn't say that, but I'm just saying, like, how do we know that stuff that he tried to do didn't get shot down in me? And that's why I said I need to read his book so that I can have a better understanding of his point of view. So then I could say I could decide for myself. All right, Obama's full of shit, or Obama tried, but he was already set up to fail from the minute he walked in there. That could have been the case too. It could have just been as soon as he walked in the doors, they were like, just to let you know, everything that you said, you ain't gonna get none of that shit. It's like
But
you don't know.
it's on the individual to say, well, y'all just gonna have to kick me out this motherfucker because I'm going hard. That's what I would have said. I would have been like, oh, for real, I can't do nothing. Well, you're not gonna sit here and use me as a puppet. So I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. And whenever y'all choose to boot me for doing what I'm gonna do, not only will I be gone, but I'll be able to expose y'all for trying to puppeteer and lock us down into a
So
way
you don't
where
think
I'm
that's
hand tied.
you don't think that's dangerous?
Why is that dangerous? JFK
I
did
don't.
it.
Yeah, and JFK didn't make it out of Texas.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Nobody's willing to sacrifice. We want a comfortable death, but it's bigger than us right here, right now. Like we were talking about our children. My son's black and his mom's Colombian and I'm black. But when he riding around, when he's 26, that's a nigga in the coupe. You feel me? That's what it's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
look like.
yeah.
So if I'm not willing to sacrifice for him today, then was I really a father? Or was I just a hermit crab gathering meager resources that's allowed to me to pass down to him that he'll only be able to use within the same system that constrained me? That's what I'm saying. I really don't feel like Obama just went in there and was like, well, fuck them niggers. You know what it is. Pastor Gavassi. I'm not saying he did that. But what I'm saying is I don't feel like he fucking let his presidential nuts hang to say, look, y'all either gonna toss me out or I'm gonna get what I need to get done.
Yeah.
And a lot of people tell me, well, you don't know how politics work and all.
He had
and
8 years too. He had 8 years.
He had 8 years, bro. And at least in that 8th year where you know you leaving anyway, let your nuts hang. Ain't no re-election. Let your nuts hang. And that was not the case. He came here to Baltimore and called the people that in Baltimore thugs and all of that shit like that. And it's like, now some of them niggas is thugs. Some of them niggas was thugs.
Hold up, wait. Elaborate on that, please.
He pulled up and he, to the protesters and everything from the Freddie Gray thing, he was just saying that you're behaving like thugs in the streets. And thug is the political term for you acting like niggas in the street. Turn the Marvin Gaye off and put the Hennessy up because you acting like niggas in the street. That's the way Trump used it. If Trump say thug, oh, he's a misogynist, he's a racist. But when it's used by somebody else, it's not the case. So it's a lot of politics is broken.
But you know what? That word thugs really, really aggravates me because let's break down like the meaning of what a thug is. Like, is that really what a thug is? It's like
shout out Young Thug. No, that's
like
not what it is.
Throwing out these terms. It's like, man, terms and narratives. That's what it is. Terms and narratives.
We're not looking at facts.
Put a term on somebody and put it and fit them inside a narrative, and suddenly you're just closing them into this thing saying he just is one box. So if I'm rebellious or don't go along with your plan, I'm a thug.
Yeah, not even rebellious, just not going along with your plan. You're right.
So it's like, what do you mean? What are you saying? So isn't thugs criminals? So you're talking to people that are rebelling thugs. Then what is it really going? What do you really like? What is this word?
I just told you it means niggas.
Yeah.
Niggas go home.
Yeah. So
shoot,
man, I didn't know.
Shoot.
So you heard him legitimately say that? Dang, I wish I'd have heard.
Hop on YouTube, bro. Your video ain't up, nigga. Hop on YouTube. Put the captions on it.
I don't even want to do that, yo.
It's heavy, bro. But what I say all that to say is that our political system is heavily, heavily, heavily manufactured. We're given the illusion of selection and the illusion of
Well,
choice.
right off the beginning, you're already at a disadvantage. Look at the process of registering to vote. Yo,
Mm-hmm.
in other countries, there's in other countries the voting the registration process, you can do it up to the moment of voting. You can walk right
Right.
into a booth
Same day.
and register on the same day, or in some places you get registered automatically as soon as you get a
Mm-hmm.
driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
Why
Yep.
America should be that. The minute you get your driver's license, you should automatically register to vote, given that you fit the criteria that they
You meet
deem you.
right. Mm-hmm.
Then
You're
if you
old
meet the
enough. You're a
criteria, you're
resident. Yep.
automatically registered because it has to do with where you live. So does your license.
Mm-hmm.
So the minute that I get my driver's license, my address is on there. Ain't I
Right.
supposed to report when I move within a specific amount of time? When I
Mm-hmm.
move, I'm supposed to go in there and adjust my address on my
Right.
driver's license. It's the same thing. So if I adjust my address on my driver's license, it just changed my polling place. It's so
Yeah.
simple. But why aren't
It's
they
so
making
simple.
those easy changes? And
I think
well,
it's
because
because
they're trying
Go
to
ahead.
minimize the people they're trying to make it harder for specific people not to vote. Hands
I mean,
down.
that's an argument. Yeah, that's an argument. But I don't think what I'm saying is I don't think our vote has as much validity as we give it.
Oh, and then the
Over,
format of the vote. That's another part. You
I
know,
only vote local. I don't vote
the
for president.
the electoral college. That already is
The fuck is that?
the
Right.
electoral college was implemented to try to offset
The larger
the
states and the
fact
smaller
that
states.
not just that, but also because the people were so spread out that it was harder for people to get the vote. So when they do the electoral college, made it easier for them to like make a small state and a big state be even because voting was
Right.
harder to do then. Now we have a full expansive way of voting. It should be all popular at this point because every single person is capable of voting through all the different forms of voting.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Trump was trying to stop the mail-in votes and all that. Like, what's...
I mean, I sort of feel that because it's like, it's getting finessed anyway. I know all of these elections aren't straight, clear cut, genuine, 100% accurate things. They can't be. It's too many moving parts, man. You got too many people. You might have a radical for the Democrats on one side. You got that radical for the Republicans at each voting poll doing nefarious shit. People are not honest in this world today. So, that's just how I feel. But I don't know, man. Such is life. We're just gonna have to try to do our best as parents, man, and make the most of it. But we coming up on an hour and a half, bro. And I did want to touch on this last subject, man. A former Ram football player, man, did some ultra heinous shit this week, man. I mean, some straight up I don't even know the words for it, man. This guy fucking went off the rails. I saw online they were trying to give types of validations and justifications on why he did it. And of course, I'm talking about Zach Stacy, former Rams and New York Jets running back. But he went to his ex-girlfriend's house, man, and to say he assaulted her would be an understatement, bro. He pulled some in the club beating type shit.
I couldn't believe when I seen it. And the crazy thing is, like, this video has gone beyond viral. Like, if anybody has seen it or passed it around, so anybody seen that video is really disgusting because you got a level of domestic violence, but then you got what he did. That's like beyond domestic violence.
And this chick like 90 pounds, bro.
And it's differences when you're sitting there putting your hands on somebody that's obviously not showing you any kind of indication that they want any kind of problem with you in that way, and you're still doing that. So it wasn't just domestic violence, it was bullying, it was diminishing, he was demoralizing her in that situation. And it's crazy because we need to stop seeing this. He
could have killed that chick, bro.
Yeah, that
easily he could have killed.
And the thing is that after he did what he did, she's in a submissive position. He comes back, grabs something unknown, and throws it at her in her
like
face.
Some cheese curls or some shit.
Something. Then picks her back up and then choke slam her like he's the Undertaker.
That's when I thought he was gonna kill her, bro. Because one of them rods from that baby bouncer could have went right in her back or something.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my god, bro, that shit was crazy, man.
And the way she was behaving and being very submissive lets you know that this is not the first time he's put hands. Like, he's put hands on her before. And meanwhile, I didn't even notice until the third time I seen it. I don't know why I had to see it 3 times, but I saw the baby on the couch. He could have easily threw her into that baby.
I didn't see the baby on the couch.
I wouldn't want you to see it again, but if you want to, pay attention to the left side of the screen, you'll see the baby's right there in plain sight, seeing it, an infant. That's what really
ridiculous, bro. In
set
front of
me
the
off,
baby,
like
bro.
in front of a baby, and the baby reacted to the. That's
Yeah,
why
the
you heard the
choke
baby
slam.
cry at the end, because that happened right in front of the baby's vision, and she saw the slam into the thing, and then the baby started crying, and then he had the nerve to say "I love you" to his son as he left.
That was some sinister shit. That
Super
I love you
sinister.
was scary. That was some horror movie shit right there when he said "I love you" and closed the door.
Did he not know he was on video?
Yo, that's I think that, like you said, that shit happened
maybe
before because she put the cameras
set the
up
cameras
like that.
up.
Yeah,
Because she
like,
knew he
Zach
was
coming
coming
over. Let me put the cams up.
He was specifically doing it for a reason. He says, "You would put our relationship in jeopardy like that." I heard him say something along the lines of that. So something along the lines
just walk
of that.
away,
He said,
bro. If she giving you that much grief, family, you need to just slide, fellas. As a nigga who done had arguments with my wife,
nah, but
and my
that's
people,
the mother of
just
his
like,
baby, yo, and he
you
did
still
it in
can
front of his
slide, bro, because
baby.
now he going to jail forever.
No, I'm saying that
he's
how
never
could you
getting out of
even-
jail.
Damn, dude, that was
That's stupid, nigga. That's
Nah, but-
dumb.
I just had looked recently that he had went to his bond hearing, and that his lawyer moved up the bond hearing days sooner because his ex-woman, her name is Kristen Evans, by the way, she was gonna go to it to make sure that his bond is higher, to make it harder for him to get out.
Bond,
plead
no
her case.
bond.
But the problem was he moved it up, and he got set for a $10,000 bond, yo.
$10,000?
$10,000 bond.
The judge must not have seen the video.
She was not there. He did see the video. Her lawyer said that the judge seen the video
and gave him $10,000
to the bond hearing without her there. And now they have to do they have to repeal it now, and they're trying to get that bond higher. But he's about to bond out.
This nigga already ran.
And she said in the interview that she's scared because I think what I believe is that whooping came from her possibly saying that she was gonna turn him in. She's like, you've been abusing me for this long. If you do it again, I am going to call. She probably said the lines of line because he said something about you would risk our relationship to do that. Something along the lines he said like that. So that means that maybe she had threatened him saying, if you hit me again, I am going to turn you in. And I think that in that moment she had those cameras. He didn't know. So I think he's feeling like she set him up. And why would she be so scared? Because maybe she believes that now he realized
he's gonna kill her.
He sees the video. He's seen that video himself, probably. It's on YouTube.
Oh yeah, if you got an attorney, he definitely seen that. He's probably watching it when he was on a run.
Yo, he probably seen it himself and says, "Yo, that bitch, she's gonna." So she's scared now. Yo,
if he on bond, he might pull up and kill her.
Yeah,
$10,000. That's fucking stupid. That judge need to be disbarred.
But he's got federal charges though too. It's federal charges on that.
You shouldn't be bonded on that, bro.
Because
he grabbed this chick by her. This nigga power cleans probably about 400 pounds.
Yo, this is an NFL player, yo. They just stay. They do two things. They work. They stay in the weight room. A running back at that. Everybody, running backs do nothing but work on their upper body.
That was it wasn't necessarily hard to watch because I done seen some gore.com and all them websites back in the day.
It was disturbing though,
It was tough.
It really hurt me seeing that because I'm like, damn, yo. And I can't tell you how many times I've always we all got because it's called impulse control. You got to control your impulses. Somebody says something to you, you have that moment where you're going, oh, I just want to punch.
I wish I could choke this nigga.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And the difference is that you control the impulse because you know that's not gonna do
the
anything
repercussions,
good.
Right?
And not just that, but also knowing that you're who you are is not wanting to inflict harm on others. And that kind of impulse control should only be managed in a way where you're defending yourself.
Right.
But for you,
and even then,
somebody,
even if you're defending yourself, a hit, but that was 3 separate walkaways and come back.
And come back. So it made me see that he not only was okay with what he was doing, but he was in some way enjoying it, and that's what made it disgusting.
Yeah, But I got a weird feeling, bro, that they his attorney. I wouldn't represent that nigga if I was a
Yo, I
litigator.
would
I wouldn't
do
represent
not.
him.
If I was his attorney and see that video, I'm like, bro, I can't
You
represent you.
yeah, you gotta go get a public defender, shorty. It's a wrap for you. But I got a feeling they're gonna try to throw CTE into the case, bro. I
Well,
guarantee you they're gonna
people
throw
already has
CTE.
mentioned that across social media, try to create some kind of CTE thing. But the crazy thing is that now with the advancements in medicine, although CTE can't be discovered at this point until moment of death, they are able to at least get brain scans and see how much brain trauma he's had. So
Right.
there is data out there to see if he's even a candidate for that. So
Right.
regardless of the fact, it still doesn't justify it. Because like she said, it's been going on since May. So he's been abusing her for 7 months.
Right.
Bro.
So that shit's premeditated when he came in. And then to leave and come back, that's not CTE to me. To walk away and be like, you know what, I'm not done with this chick yet. Fuck her up again, walk away. I'm not done with this chick yet. Fuck in front of the baby. That's just reckless. That's reckless, family. But we had an hour and a half, man.
She's not gonna be able to see the new Spiderman because the TV broke.
Get the fuck off the internet, Edwin. Get off the internet. You an ignorant ass nigga, yo. Oh my god, yo. It's in the movies, bro. You could be stealing it no way, man.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Damn, Edwin, you had to throw that one in there. Too late, you said it, nigga. At least your camera off. They're gonna dub that shit, make it seem like I said it on the internet, nigga. That was Sean. Oh my goodness, yo. You good, man? You know I like.
I wanted to lighten this up because we was dark, yo, for the past 40 minutes.
We had to go dark for the last 40 minutes, man.
I had to throw in something like, can you believe that he said that? Nah, man. In all realness, though, that's unacceptable, man.
So the fellas, man, this is just a PSA. If a chick gets you that upset, fam, you can come stay with me. I'll float your hotel bill, something. But there's no need destroying your life, your girl life, and your child life over something that in 2-3 weeks you wouldn't even be feeling emotionally the same about anyway, man. It's I know it's a lot of heat and a lot of darkness in the world and it influences to be acting a certain way, but as men, we have to posture ourselves to be leaders, and that was not some leadership shit right there. You feel me? So, but we all make mistakes. But that's one that might be unforgivable.
Can we make a statement on this? That video is out on the internet, which means it's there forever. This poor child is gonna grow up. And somebody is, cyberbullying is a thing, yo. His dad is a public figure. Somebody, when he's growing up, is going to be mad at him and show him that video and said, this is your father. This kid is going to have to deal with this shit later on in their life. It's going to come back again. What is he going to tell his son, yo? It's just the things, the ramifications of what he did is beyond just the abuse. It's going to
have to eat it.
It's just terrible, man. And
he gonna have to step into it.
Is a baby infant sitting right there, only 10 feet away, yo. And if he sees that video when he's older, how is he gonna come back? Yo, it's just
he gonna have to step on it like Denzel did on He Got Game. He just gonna have to keep it real with him. Like, yo, I did that cruddy shit. I mean, that's the only retribution. If he try to talk to him,
he's got
your mother said she was gonna crash my car, and she gonna be like, all right, dad, you're a weak ass nigga. You gonna have to just step into it and tell the truth what happened, man. If he get out of jail, bro, because that was a white woman he fucking gave the last ride choke slam to. It's curtains for him, bro.
And then we could also even look at it this doesn't help the situations that we're going through now in our society either.
Right. I mean, that's one of the first things I saw when the story broke. That was one of the first things I saw. It was this person on Twitter talking about, all right, fellas, especially black men, how y'all gonna defend this one? Bitch, we not defending this. I have not seen.
You see that? There's always somebody that's gonna turn it and flip that. And that's the thing. We got Rittenhouse on one end, we got Zach Stacy. This is an ongoing cycle. Only way we're gonna come out of this is understanding that we are all individuals and stop thinking that every time a white dude does something wrong, you're gonna look at the whole white race. Every time a black dude does something wrong, the whole black race. Because in the end, we can prove that white privilege exists, but it doesn't necessarily mean that every white person is trying to use that or be malicious towards other races. You got to understand that, because you can actually create racism by by forcing
putting
it
them
onto
down.
somebody.
Yeah,
if
for sure.
if a white dude is like coming out and he's pure and genuine, but everybody outside is racist saying, yo, you're just a white supremacist, you're this and that, eventually he's gonna start hating everybody and become what you don't want him to be. So it's like we have to understand, yo, we gotta deal with each situation individually. That man's a piece of shit for it, but not because he's black, because he just did some fucked up shit and he deserves to pay for it. You know what I mean? And that's how we should look at it.
It was a guy last night at my show. I said, I was like, what's up, white people? White people, where you at? And this white dude stood up. He was like, oh, nigga went crazy, right? And so after I was like, chill out, nigga. And so after the show, he came up to me. He was like, I'm sorry, man. It's just nobody shouts us out. I was like, yo, I feel you, bro. Nobody shout out white people.
Yo, can you do that one more time, bro? You sound like Keanu Reeves just then, bro. But Keanu Reeves from Bill and Ted, bro.
Yo, that was my shit. Excellent Adventure. And another thing too, yo. Another thing that's under the radar, bro. Jeffrey Epstein homegirl trial started this week. The niggas ain't talking about that. Yeah, so that's on the low. So as that unfolds,
let's look at that. We might have to talk about that next week for sure.
Yeah. I don't really know too much about it. I just know that.
Hopefully, I get a better cam, yo. Though.
Yeah, nigga, you had to go on FaceTime if
hey, yo, we started off well though. We started off well, and now
we finished well. We finished well, man. Hopefully, the thing about podcasts, a lot of people listen to the shit while they at work. I know when I used to work a warehouse job, I would just put my shit on and just drive a forklift around all day. So I wasn't really worried about the visuals. So hopefully people can just listen into us. They seen our face, they know our face, they know our place. But our content is what hopefully gets us, on a plateau with some of the greats. But as always, Edwin, my niggas, good chopping it up with you, brother.
Pleasure,
as always, man, I love you, bro. If you need me to cash app you for a cam, nigga, just let me know.
Yo,
endorsement money ain't came in.
We'll talk off air about that, bro. For real, I got some questions.
Golly. Oh shit! All right, hey guys, man, from myself and Edwin, tell them peace, man.
Hey, yo, appreciate y'all, taking the time to sitting here and really being with us while we express our point of views on things. Some good, some not so good, but we human, and the best way to growth is put your stuff out there and then take your criticism and adjust yourself and become better. I'm trying to become a better person, and we do that together.
Yes,
and I appreciate being here for that.
Yes, sir. Also, man, on your way up to Jersey to watch Spiderman, I got $700 worth of Girl Scout cookies, nigga. So pull up and get you a couple boxes. It's on the house.
Yo, let me get them Thin Mints
in the house. I got the hold up. On deck, nigga. Holla at your boy.
Yo, I want them Thin Mints. And you got the peanut
nigga,
butter ones too.
Thanks a lot. I got the Coca-licious. I got the lemonade. What you can have whatever you like.
Yo, that sounds like all different. Why did that sound like different types of weed brands?
It might be in the box, nigga, but we ain't gonna say that on the camera. But all right, guys, thank you so much for watching the Too Late We Said It podcast with me and myself, Edwin Nevado. We will catch you guys next week. Have a great weekend and have a great productive work week. We will holler at you next week. Peace.